it's special that the one and only role that you booked in this town, before you decided to pack it up and figure out your next thing was the MRI scan tech
It's
for
wild.
Christina
I don't believe.
Applegate when she was going through her MS diagnosis on her hit Netflix series Dead to
I
Me.
know.
What?
The MS Positive podcast is a platform where people living with multiple sclerosis come to share everything else they do with their lives aside from being an MS patient. Among our guests are artists, singers, bloggers, actors, authors, DJs, and much more. And yeah, also health professionals because we have to stay in the know. We're more than MS. I'd like to welcome Damian Washington to the MS Positive podcast. He is an actor, comedian, rapper, YouTuber, and an MS advocate diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2016. You name it, he's done it. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Another day at the office, lady. Thank you for having me in your space.
Thank you so much for accepting the invitation. I'm delighted to have you. You're so much fun. And you've done so many things that we could speak for like so many hours.
I
Um,
guess. Sure.
so I know that meditation is huge for you. And I want to start on that note. I want you to tell me, did you start to meditate after your MS diagnosis, or is this a practice that you have
Ha.
done all your life?
Wow. See, this is why I want to hang out with you. Okay, so it's yes, the practice came after my MS diagnosis, and the reason it came into my world is because my degree from Middlebury College is in theater and Eastern Asian religions. So I was a theater major and an Eastern Asian religions minor. Essentially, my 4 years in college, like I took an intro to Eastern Asian religions course, loved it, read all of the books cover to cover, wrote every single paper I wrote, got A's. So I got A's on all the papers. I loved all the books. And as I was working my way through college, it was like, well, if I had just tackle on a couple more of these classes, I can also say that I'm an Eastern Asian religions minor. So that's just how I spent that piece of my time in childhood. Fast forward, I don't know how many years, at least 10, more than 10. I moved to Los Angeles, and my friend who's helped me getting on my feet with my career, I noticed like while I'm figuring out my way forward in LA and staying on her couch and learning the town, I noticed that she goes into her closet and at the same time every day, and because we're friends, like I'm sleeping on a couch.
Right.
Like one of these days this is happening, and I was like, "Girl, you going into your prayer closet, girl? What's happening with you?" And this individual, she walks over to me like just the strongest energy you can feel, and this again, it's my old friend, so like in my soul, and says, "Damien, if you don't have some sort of spiritual practice when you move out here, you will lose your mind."
Oh.
And so I was like, okay. Fast forward, this is a long story, but like this, I've never really told this story. I
Well,
just
I'm glad that
so
I got the
that's
premiere.
all.
That's great.
That's why it's like long like this. Fast forward, like I've got my career going, it's finally going back on, and I'm in my commercials and like doing my thing. And I'm just like, things still aren't clicking. And at some point, I'm like, yo, I think I'm losing my mind. I think I'm losing my mind. So, me having that thought made me remember my friend looking at me like, yo, if you don't have this, you will lose your mind. I was like, well, I can figure this out. because I know a lot about this. So let me see if I can figure this out. And it's kind of been a part of my world increasingly ever since.
I have tried to meditate, and it's for me, and I know for a lot of people that I have talked to about this particular subject, it's hard to quiet the mind. So I wonder, how do you manage to meditate 20 minutes twice a day? I can
Three
even do
times a
10.
day, lady. Three
Yeah.
times a day, lady. Okay. No,
So I
but
said
watch
three
this.
times.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. Like you do the for me, that's just the effort and the nerd that's in me. But like that's why I get up early and do it first thing. And then like in my lunch break, like I in my lunch hour, I take a half hour to eat and then I take another half hour to meditate. And then it's like, all right, make sure you do this before dinner time somewhere. So it's like it seems like some far out, like, wow, man, thing that that I do, but it's like, no, man, it's just something that I make sure that I do. And I think that's kind of part of it's all wrapped up in it. It's part of it. Like essentially, if you don't want to sit alone by yourself for 15 minutes, what are the people in your world, your friends, your coworkers, your spouse, like, and think about what they
Right.
have to go through when they sit in the room with you for 15
Yeah,
minutes, you know?
absolutely.
And like once I started to think about it in that way, um, it really helped remove the resistance whenever I don't want to meditate, because I come on, like I'm not like a guru in the mountains like here, like right now. I'm just a nerd that's like, no, this is important. What One of the ways I remove that resistance, it's like, bro, just I've never not felt better after I was done with a meditation session. And when you're a multiple sclerosis patient, it's useful.
It
It's
is. It
useful.
is. I mean, I agree 100%. It's just,
That's all.
for me, it's the discipline, get myself to. So I admire that you can actually
That
stick to
thank you.
that, stick to that,
Thank you, Ray.
because that requires a lot, because there's a lot of distractions and a lot of things around us, plus our little friend MS.
Oh, yeah, but best believe, like, a lot of my sessions, like, because the body is so calm and, like, it is now, like, a bit more chilled out, sometimes its functions start to move around. So,
Mhm.
going to the
Okay.
bathroom in MS is a thing.
Is the thing.
And sometimes I'm not going to the bathroom properly. And when I say sometimes, it's like most of the time. And a lot of the times, the discipline of having the practice also helps that, because if I'm like, all right, I'm sitting for a half hour, 15 minutes into it, my body's like, you got to go to the bathroom right now. And to do something that, like, yo, I really have been needing to do this and I feel better now and I can walk better now and my vision's better now, like, that type of a thing. So it's getting out of your own way, one, but then two is sort of like beginning to want to desire um the benefits from it, and like you pay attention, like it costs something, so pay attention, use that capital, that energy, that currency that you have with your life, and pay yourself. That's a way of looking at it, but it can be a difficult practice. And I know that and live that, and that's why I have so many words around it and have such joy and light and support for people that want to do it, and also be like, oh, I haven't been able to, I can't do this, I can't do this. It's like, no, yeah, you can. Everybody can, because you go to the bathroom, right? You drink water, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you can do this too.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, my life is very loud around me, so it's hard. But I found a way of trying to incorporate. I'm still disciplining myself. I'm not there
There we
yet,
go.
I will
There we
admit.
go.
But when I'm taking a shower, listen, water sounds are very relaxing for me. I enjoy water sounds. I feel calm and relaxed. So I think that's the best moment for me, and I have incorporated that during my shower time.
You see,
So
I'm taking a little piece of
I'm
that right now. Like that's so good.
yeah, yeah. So, Damien, you were in the room doing Christina Applegate's MRI.
Okay.
Tell me all about it during the Dead to Me incident, correct? So, how
Yes.
wild was
Wow.
that and ironic that among all the actors in the world, you are the one that's there in the MRI room with Christina Applegate? I mean, how did that happen?
There's so much more to that story, and you see how long I can talk. But I'm just gonna like trim this down as the super shortest as I can. That was one. I've done 37 commercials and voiceovers. Like I for people like Lowe's Home Improvement Stores and Realtor.com with Elizabeth Banks and Ring with Shaquille O'Neal. Like that's what I did for like some time, and I've always wanted to be on a sitcom. I've always wanted to be like with somebody on the multicam with the laugh track and like ha 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 like that. I wanted that so badly. And as I'm going through the town, just working to get that, like I'm doing all these commercials and things, but I'm still not getting this. Um, it kind of it's gotten to the point where it's like, well, you got to move on with more pieces of your life. Like you're 40 something, you're in your you're in your early 40s, my man. You gonna be in your mid 60s still trying to be on the laugh track? No, fam. No.
You
Get
were
out of here.
determined. You were determined. You got
Yeah,
it.
I was determined.
Yeah.
I was like,
You
I've got other things.
manifested it too. It's manifested. You manifesting it. Look, that's
Right, but this is
important.
this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, Martin. Like I was at the point in my career where I was like, all right, I have to figure out another way, and that I'm leaning on my content more and expanding more what I do in that world, and slow down running after being the guy on the TV with the laugh track. Um, as I was removing myself from that business, that job came in. It was a job like you just audition for how many things over how many days and weeks and months and years. So it just was a tape I submitted. I submitted a tape, and my manager was like, "Yo, you booked that," and I was like, "I booked that tape. Okay, let's see what it is." And it during the shoot, she was in incredible pain and like incredible pain. As a fan, like just as an abject, like, oh my gosh, fan,
I can imagine.
you want to do that, but
Right.
like it's first of all, you're at work, number one. Two, she's hurting, bro. She's hurting. She's clearly hurting, and like the diagnosis and the condition and that's why it's the last season. It was the first episode of the last season. Just try to relax, okay? And me, I'm like, yeah, no, but this show need to wrap up, girl. Like, so it was one of those things where it was like, is this the universe? Is this God? Is this spirit? Is like, what is this? But Damien, look at your life. Look at what's going on around you. Look at where you are. Look at what you're doing. And it's special that the one and only role that you booked in this town before you decided to pack it up and figure out your next thing was the MRI scan tech
It's
for
wild.
Christina
I don't believe
Applegate when she was going through her MS diagnosis on her hit Netflix series Dead to
I
Me.
know.
What?
I know. And that we have heard and seen so much about it that it's wild that you can tell the story and you were there, first row. It's like it just blows my mind. You are a very lucky person.
No, thank you. Like my
Yeah.
mind is still blown. Like
Yeah.
I remember the day and my mind was blown. And when you're such a like one line, two line player, like you're a cog in a wheel. Like a television show is a city. Like it's a city that moves to different places in the city. So like we were in some abandoned hospital somewhere, and it's like this thing is teeming with people, and you go here now, and this is where you sign this paper, and this is where you do this, and this is where you get wardrobe. Like it's a city. So like you only really get in to do your thing when it's the time to do the thing.
Do it.
And so I'm dressed, I'm ready to go, and because this is a performer you've like seen since like ever, like I've been lucky enough to be around and in part of like fun performances with like legit famous people, and been like, hey, it's cool being around you, famous person, and like joy and do that. Like I was not able to do that in that instance because again she was in that much pain, and that's why I was like, yo, I'm happy for you that you like actor to actor, like excuse me, from fan to person. I'm like but actor to actor, I'm like, yo, I'm glad that this is now the last version of this for you, of this run of this season, and as a patient, man, I want you to get some relief as soon as possible. Now, not now, but right now. Like NAU now. And that's my heart went out to that lady as I was going through that.
You
But
were the
yes,
one that had more empathy for her because
it
you
was
know
very exciting.
exactly how it feels like. So
Yeah, man.
as
Yeah.
as a support group leader that I am, I feel so touched by her story because I saw how she her statement that she would never be she won't be back in front of a camera due to MS, and I remember uh I mean I've been a fan as well for many years when she was younger, and I wanted to be her. I wanted to be her. I
Get it.
remember,
I get it.
and now I see her all broken like that, and
I
it's
get it.
so sad because I know exactly the place that she's coming from.
Like I know precisely where you are. I know exactly where you are. And it's not fun to know firsthand.
Exactly. No, it's not.
No,
It ain't cool. It ain't cool at all.
but it ain't
It
cool.
ain't cool. No.
But it's legit like it's me with my own career, her with her career. Like yeah, I'm sure you with yours in your own time, in your own way, and everyone who lives with this condition has to go through in their own way, in their time, in their span. So it's all heavy stuff, but it's all fun stuff. I'm just glad that was one little piece of joy I was able to eke out. I don't know, what 10 years of me running around Los Angeles trying to be on TV longer than 30 seconds,
Been a long
and
time.
aimed ended up doing about 3 dozen commercials and voiceovers. And
You've done it
so
all. I mean,
that's kind of respectable. That's a little like, okay, you didn't it's not that you just didn't get what you came for, son. Just now go do something else now. You can do something else. I give you permission to do something else with your life and your energy, you know?
well, you've done like so many commercials. You mentioned some realtor.com. You mentioned I saw one of A1 sauce. I loved it. Rain with Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, you said 10 years in Los Angeles, but when did your acting career started? Like since when? Are you an actor since you knew you were going to be an actor since you were a child, or
Yeah,
how did
I'm
it
one of
start?
those nerds. I'm one of those nerds. I went to theater school. If you're from New York City, I went to the High School for Performing Arts. Like I'm
You were
a
focused on that.
yeah, I'm
In the
one of
art.
those kids.
Yeah.
And then it's like do at some point like my first commercial I was 15 years old. It was for the Captain Crunch cereal. And the Captain Crunch Christmas cereal in like 1997 was like me.
What was I doing in 1997? I was in my
Yeah.
second. I think I was in my second year of college.
Okay. Girl, I sold you cereal when you was in college, okay?
I was in a commercial for a supermarket in maybe not 95, but
Okay,
80,
so there we
85.
go.
I think it was
So
85.
we're all doing our thing.
We were doing
Okay.
our things since we were
We're
little.
doing our thing. And at some point it's like, yeah, I got an offer for a full scholarship to go to my college. Um, and so I was like, I could like I was doing commercials. It's like, oh, okay, I could let's keep this career going. I can do this. But it was like, bro, you have a full this is an opportunity for a full ride to a top 10 college. That's not always going to be on the table, but you going to always have talent. So go to this college, boy. And so that's how long I've been doing it.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. It's like, all right, go to college. All right, get a job. Go to college. Get out your mama house. Get a job.
Get out your
Figure
mama
out
house.
how to make your way forward, and so you can work to try to be on this TV again. Because you at the very least you know how to book a commercial. So even if all that other stuff doesn't work out, you know that you can get health insurance on your craft because of the way this business is structured, because you know how to make those moves in this business.
I salute you, sir. You've done pretty good. It's interesting because this show is about, you have a mess, I have a mess. Great. We know what it is about. And it's the
No,
club where nobody wants to be part of. So
nope.
enough of it. Let's just talk about, that's just a small part of your life. There's so many layers to Damian Washington. You do so many
Wow, that's
things
so
that
wonderful.
are
I
so
appreciate
important and that we need to talk more about. It's how I feel that the MS community is exposed to so much clinical information all over YouTube, podcasts, the MS Society, the website, the webinars. It's a lot. And sometimes you don't want to hear the do's and don'ts of MS. I live with it. Thank you. As soon as I open my eyes, I know I have multiple sclerosis. Can we just not talk about it for 1 second?
that sentiment and that perspective and that way forward in making material about your subject without speaking about the subject and pointing at the subject, and you can talk about a thing without talking about the thing.
Yeah,
So
I don't want to
I
be
hear that
labeled.
through you.
I don't want to
I
be
hear that
labeled
through
as
you now.
just a patient. I do so many other things, and so do you. Your husband, your
Yes,
friend, you're an actor, you're a human
yes.
being. You're not just a patient.
I'm
So,
about to cry.
well, don't cry on me because I'm a crier
Uh,
too, and
yeah,
then
right.
we're
See,
gonna have to watch the movies. Can we mention a few? The Piano Man.
Piano Man. Yes. Okay. So the director of Piano Man, he and I went to high school together, and he and I like have brought the houses down in theaters together since children. And he's a director. He writes scripts. He makes films. He does things. And he wrote a script, and he was like, "Yo, my man, I wrote a script, and I think the dude is you. I made a thing, and it's you. Are you around this dude during this specific set of time? I really hope you are, because this thing that came out of me, no, it's you. So let's go."
And there you are, featured in
And,
the
and
movie.
there I was. I mean, it's funny how, again, that's not the business, but it's just how life comes together. You have your wants and your attentions, and you have what's coming at you, and how you figure out your own way through the middle, and just your way through is your life.
I was going to mention the Montel Williams free thinking.
Free thinking
Yeah,
with Montel. Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. How did that go? Because I remember seeing your post when you finally, announced that you were going to be in his show, and I was like, man, that is something else. I felt so happy for you, and when I watch it, I mean, the energy between the two of you, it was so natural, so organic, and I really enjoy all his knowledge, and it was amazing to me. It was very nurturing. I really learned a lot and I enjoyed it. I watched all the way to the end. I got hooked. Like
Yeah.
I needed to use the bathroom when I was holding it, and I'm not kidding you.
And
And
okay,
I'm
then
not
that's
kidding
real.
you.
I know how much that means from
That's
one
a
MS
lot.
patient to another. That's a lot, ladies. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
That's a lot
That's
of
how I
work.
know you were into it.
I was into it.
Yo, what? So again, as the public figure that I am, an email came into DamianWashington.com, and emails come to me. A lot of it, you have the things directly on your phone, and that's one thing. But the email from the website, that's something you have to make sure you go on and you check. And
Yes.
there wasn't an app for it at the time. So
I'm gonna get that email when I want to talk
yeah,
to.
so it was just like I was making sure that I was checking my website email, and like clearing the spam. Sometimes there's good requests in there, and you reach out and you work with people, and that's cool. But this one time, it was like the email was like uh, Montel Williams podcast, and it was like, so my brain is already like skimming for spam. Like maybe I'll have some opportunity in here, but maybe it's just all spam. Whatever. As I'm going through it, it's like
It was real.
it was like Montel's thing, and I was like, and I clicked it, and it was like, "Hey, David, I'm a producer with Montel's Free Thinking. Are you available to talk about multiple sclerosis on one of these days?"
And you were
And
like,
I was like, I'm like looking around, like, are there any cameras here? Are we joking? What's happening?
That's funny.
Okay, this is okay. Yes, I am, etc., etc. And another email later, I'm with the man himself. I'm with the legend, and speaking about my journey, because part of his journey is speaking with others about theirs, and him being able to look at the channel and the community that I steward as something that he wanted to invite in his space and chop it up with. There's I can't really describe what a special experience that specifically was.
It shows. It shows. The proof is there. I mean, when you watch, I tell you, I got hooked. I watched all the way to the end. It was so interesting, and there was this chemistry. It was amazing to me. It was one of the best I watched from you. You know, it was so natural, and I don't know, it was great.
There's also joy in my heart around, him in this way, because I remember being a kid watching his show. And like I remember the apartment that I was in the Bronx, and like the season that it was, and like the noise coming from the street, and like all the building sound. Like I remember the moment where he talks about having MS, and he's having the shows about what it means, and what he's going through, in a health from a health standpoint. And just getting that email, I immediately flash back to the moment where I see him describing how painful it is for his feet to touch the floor. And like, just because again I see it. So
Uh-huh.
like it's emotion that's going through me.
Yes.
Um, when I read that email, it I immediately went back to that moment.
Oh, oh, Damian.
I immediately went back to that moment. And as soon as I went back to that moment, the next moment was me getting diagnosed, and me being like, what do you mean? Like, multiple sclerosis? Montel Williams has multiple sclerosis, like, what? What does this mean? And so those two thoughts immediately popped into my head and my brain. I felt those emotions. So yeah, there's that's how that experience was. And the legend shot me an email, and very glad that
That's
I'm
wild.
enough of a nerd to be
Mhm.
like, Is this you, legend? Sir, yes, sir. I'm here. I'm available, sir.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, just for the record, for people that may have, I don't know, maybe don't know exactly the beginning of your story or your journey, your MS journey, what were your first symptoms? Like, what happened, and how did it take a long time to get a diagnosis, or was it was it pretty obvious? Like mine was in 48 hours. Boom, you got multiple
Yeah, boom.
sclerosis.
You
Here,
had
go
it. You
home.
had it.
And I'm like, wait, wait,
That,
wait. Give me a second. I'm still thinking about it. The what? So
that,
mine was like that, but a
that's
lot of
weird
people take
how it
longer.
can be like that. It really can be either 48 to 72 hours, you have multiple sclerosis. Or it can be
10 years.
over 10 years.
Yes, I
Over
know.
10 years.
I know
You
people.
know, child, what's wrong with you? You have multiple sclerosis.
Yes.
It's so weird how that can go. But I'm generally a high energy guy. As you see, I need to fill the frame with my energy.
Yeah.
It's my job. I couldn't do that as readily as I've always been able to do, as I've been able to do since I was at 15 years old selling Captain Crunch on the television. So at some point, it's like I can't. I'm having trouble finishing the shoots that I'm doing. I, my I just feel weird. Like I don't even know what fatigue is, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling what that feels like. And as I'm getting progressively sicker, I'm going from doctor to doctor, and I'm on my fourth doctor. And one for the gait, one for the vision, one like yeah, I'm going from doctor to doctor, and they don't know what's wrong with me. And I took a walk with my wife one day, and I just keep getting progressively more tired, more fatigued on these things that I could not make it halfway down the block. So it was like, yo, I can't do this no more. Let's go back home. And we went back home, and I sat down to take my shoes off, and instead of taking my shoe off, I fell. And so like it's you go down to take off your shoe, and now you're looking at the ceiling.
Oh wow.
And so it's just like
Ouch.
that's when my wife was like, all right, that's it.
There's
We are
something wrong.
going to emergency care,
Yeah.
and we are not leaving until we know what's wrong with you. That emergency care doctor was like, I don't know what's wrong with you, but get an MRI. In hindsight, if you think she knows, she can't. You cannot really be told that you have multiple sclerosis on, but it must be confirmed from a neurologist, and so that's why she was like, no, go get an MRI, and the MRI will tell you what to do. And the MRI readout was like, oh yeah, he's mad healthy. He's a regular cold dude. Oh, he totally has multiple sclerosis. He should go see a neurologist and get that worked out.
Wow.
And so I did that, and that was that moment of diagnosis.
We know that MS doesn't go in remission. It's not cancer. This is multiple sclerosis, and it doesn't go in remission. We experience symptoms every day, all the time. Your job. I've been in recording studios and stuff, and it takes many hours. So how do you manage? How do you cope when MS gets in the way? Because I'm sure it does. While you are doing your thing, like you say, how do you manage that? Because when the body wants to rest, it wants to rest. When my brain shuts down, I fall asleep. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I fall asleep. So I can imagine when you are, going and going and going and going for hours.
Well, that's the thing. I can't go for hours and hours and hours anymore, and that's why it was even more pressing for me to be like, all right, agents, like, don't call me, I'll call you. To
Don't come
really
back
like
to you.
have to figure out my life going forward with all of this. you can set yourself up for the greatest of the greatness of the days, and I'm gonna make sure I do these X, Y, and Z things. But if there ain't no gas in the car, there ain't no gas in the car.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because if you're filming and you're in location and it's not your turn yet, and you want it to be your turn, you're already tired, you had it, your body says, you know what, you gotta go home. What do you do?
So I got diagnosed. Oh goodness. Ooh, I've never thought about this in this way. So okay, so somewhere in my, I don't know, 20th, 29th, 30th, some odd commercial, I get this diagnosis. It's like, all right, now you know what's wrong with you. Now you have to, excuse me. Now understand your medical condition. How are you going to move forward through that? And so there's life and career and like all the stuff. So I know, because through this channel and through my own process, I know what I need to do, what I got to do. And there are plenty of jobs like that. The multiple sclerosis patient was this close from needing to tell everybody that we need a break right
We
now.
need a break. Are they accommodating with you?
Oh yeah, no, the set will shut down for sure, for sure. No,
Okay.
not set will shut down. The reasonable accommodations will certainly be made. However, I'm so in tune with what I do and how I do what I do. And you see, I meditate all the time and I eat a certain way, and I am a very specific guy. And I've whittled that down over years of like not hitting those marks and being on the other side of those consequences. And I know that when money is on the line, what I'm going to need to hit the mark and stay the line like the job demands. And so whether that's bringing my own food and not eating the delicious craft services at the commercial. Listen. Booking a commercial is lots of fun because sometimes you hang out with famous people. Sometimes you're on TV and your friends get to call you and be like, "Oh my God, you're on TV!"
I know him.
And the food on a commercial set.
Yes, I know. I've seen
I
it.
know you know. This is why I'm
It's
painting this picture for all of us here,
it's like
right?
very tempting
Oh,
and
it's
delicious. I know there's a lot to
delicious. It's some of the most delicious food you're gonna taste. But because I have MS and I run this vlog and I'm so sort of dialed into what I do, I know I'm there to do a job. So I know if I eat the crafty, I might not necessarily have what I need to do the job. Like if I eat that, then I'll be more fatigued or my vision will be shaky and like,
Uh-huh.
well,
Exactly.
so I know if I'm going to do the job, then I have all of the food prepared and brought with me on the day of the job. Like it's just more prep and more thinking ahead and more like you respect. No, it's not that you respect. You understand multiple sclerosis.
Yeah.
You know what it is,
Mhm.
but you know you also have a job to do, right?
Yes.
You want to pay rent, son. You want to pay the health insurance, right?
Yes.
Like you have a job to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that you're lucky to do. And so it's like, what do you need in order to be your best self in that? So there are plenty jobs where I'm this close to needing a break. And but I know when to ask for a break. And I have no problem asking for it. I make sure that I don't eat the delicious craft services and I bring my own food and my own things that I know that I need, my own coffee in my own way, my own meal in my own, like all my snacks that I know that I'm going to need to be my best self. So that I'm the guy that they ask to be there. So it's the responsibility is certainly on me, and I do make sure that I do it, and it does take a lot of doing sometimes.
Yeah.
Depending
There's
on
a
the
lot
job.
of preparation behind everything that we do. Is it fair to say that it's not just showing up, but we have to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check, 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 and then we go.
And then we go.
I do the same thing. I bring my water, I bring my coffee, I bring my meal just to make sure that I'm not foggy, that I don't get sleepy, that, oh, and my stimulant pill as well. I have to bring my pill because hey,
Okay.
I'm alert. Thanks to
Your new
Dr.
visual.
Shout out to Dr. Aaron Buster. He's the one
Okay.
that suggested that. And
New
I love him
vigil,
for
new
that.
vigil or pro vigil?
It's modafinil, the one
Yeah,
I use.
armodafinil. Yeah,
Yeah, I
okay.
think it's the generic for one of them.
No,
Could be.
if no armodafinil, and then there's my insurance company
And
made me
there's
switch to
Adderall as
Modafinil.
well.
Yeah, modafinil is the other less
Yeah.
strong version of that. So if you got the armodafinil, go ahead. I'm happy for you.
Hey, it's
I'm happy
great.
for you.
I call it my happy pill, even though it's not a happy pill, but
It's
it
not
makes me
happy.
no, but I'm
It
focused.
shifts the energy.
Learn
It
is the energy.
shifts the energy
It
and
does.
the static that
Yes.
multiple sclerosis can
Yes.
cause sort of gets tuned out a little bit. The thumb on the scale that multiple sclerosis is eases up in certain cognitive ways when you use the medicine. That's the medicine's effect, and so that's certainly a necessary thing, and something that you want in your toolkit if possible, for sure.
Yeah. For us, it is. I mean, I realized once I started to use it because I don't like to take too many. I don't
Too
like
much all the time. Yeah,
it's
it's
just I'm
all
more like organic, and I thought I could manage, but I tried it. I believed and listened to the doctor, and I tried it, and everything changed for me. And I am very very grateful for it because I'm a lot more functional, and everything goes like it smooth things out for me. Does that make
so
sense?
the pill is 300 milligrams. I forget the amount of milligrams that I would get, but I would take a whole pill, and then it was like it's 3:30 in the morning. I should probably go to sleep.
That
Like
does
or
happen
like
to me too. Hilarious.
so, but what is what I'm saying? So it's like knowing that it's like, all right, I don't necessarily need to be up to 3 in the morning. So let me buy a pill cutter and cut this pill in half. And if I'm going to take this medication, I'm going to take a half of a pill of this medication and note what time of day it is and be like, all right, so if I'm going to take any more of this medicine, I really shouldn't take it anytime after 3 p.m. Otherwise, I won't be able to go to sleep
Oh my god.
until 3 a.m.
Are you a
Um,
fly in my bedroom? Is that what it is? Because
well,
that's
I
exactly what I do and how I talk to myself. It's 1 o'clock. This is, I can't take it later than this. So I do the same thing.
right.
Everything that you're saying.
This is why I'm articulating it in this way, in this space, that this wonderful space that you have made for patients and for people who need to walk through these things in their own way. Like if you already brought that up, girl, I know me and you do the same dance, okay? And so if me and you do the same dance, then people who are watching might maybe are doing a similar dance.
Yes.
And
You
so
learn
it's
the
important.
hard way when you are up at
You
3:30 in the morning.
learn the
You realize,
yo,
oh, I took it around 4, 12 hours, 11 hours,
yo.
no wonder. Tomorrow I'll do it differently.
Mm. I got to do something different because I can use this pill for sure, but it's also 4:07 in the morning.
Yeah,
So
I've been there.
I can, and that's not you. You can't keep living like this.
No, it's
So
crazy,
I
but
have that
it's
going
so
on.
real for us. It's
It
so
is
real
so real. It's that's all part of being in this club.
in the
Like,
club that nobody wants to
uh,
be in.
it's the club. You don't want to be in here,
Nobody.
but the people that are in this club are some
Yes,
of the most genuine,
it's
some of
true.
the most present, some of the most vibrant people that you will get the chance to meet and to interact with and be close sharing energies with and be able to connect with in another way that other people cannot connect with them. and in other ways that people cannot connect with you.
Yes. That's why my one of my first uh, advice for people that are newly diagnosed, because I work as well as a mentor. I work for 6 months with people that are newly diagnosed, just to help them navigate, these choppy waters of MS for the first time. The first thing that I say always is find your tribe, connect. I don't know if that means being in a support group. I don't know if it means going on social media and just looking at accounts and interacting with people. I don't know if it is going to uh, events, MS events, or joining webinars, whatever it means for you. But find your tribe, because this ride is so much fun when you have company, and it brings back the joy for life, doesn't it? Because you are talking with people that you get more empathy as opposed to sympathy. Does that make sense? Because people tell you, "Oh, well, yeah, some people say, I'm sorry, you have MS." No, don't tell me you're sorry. It's fine. But, or they say, "Oh, yeah, you should do yoga. You should sleep more. You should change your diet." All those things, they're great. But I don't want that. I just
That,
want you to treat me like a normal person. And
yeah, yeah,
empathy
yeah,
is different, because people that have MS, they know exactly what you're going through. You don't have to over explain yourself. They just get it, right? And so finding your tribe, it's to me essential,
yeah.
essential to
And
survive, to make it
it's
through the
fine
fire.
if you don't initially find your tribe. Like maybe the first time you go to these groups, like it doesn't really work for you. That does not mean that groups are not for you and you
Right.
will not find your right group.
Exactly.
Like you will this is the first MS friend that you have, and y'all didn't really, connect, but like that does not mean that with all of your subsequent MS friends will carry that same energy if it did not really work out in that way with this other person. And so like correct, find your tribe is specifically what it's all about. And I just am I'm lucky that what how I do what I do, I've been able to have tribe be on the ground floor of my being, of what I am and how I do what I do and what I do. It's all based in tribe. And it is absolutely it's paramount that
It's
you figure
paramount.
out
Exactly.
how you no one knows what it's like to have multiple sclerosis quite like
Who
someone else
has
who has
multiple
multiple
sclerosis?
sclerosis.
Correct.
So unless your whole family and all of your friends have multiple sclerosis,
Can you
then you better
imagine?
find somebody. Oh God, no, God, no, please don't. But for the purposes of the joke, like unless everyone around you, surrounded by you, has MS, you
Hmm.
need to go find other people who have MS as well.
Right. And it takes time. This is not something that you can
It
figure
takes time.
right away, because like you say, you might not click right away. You go to a support group maybe, and it's not your crowd, and but the effort has to be there, because isolating yourself, we know this is a very isolating disease. People tend to isolate themselves, and that leads to worse stuff, like severe depression and things like that. There's no need. There's so much out there, some good people like Damian and I. Thank you.
We out here.
We
Let's
out
go.
here. So, hey, just send me a direct message. Just go for it.
We out here.
Yeah.
That's-
So, good suggestions. I think we gave really good tips to the people that are watching.
my first multiple sclerosis group, it was not my scene. And I like got in. I had to get in the car and drive to places. Like went to the place and the restaurant. I was like, nah, I don't want to eat this food right now, and I don't want to wallow in this vibe that these people have right here. I'm gonna go home. But I know the social jovial dude that I am. I'm like, well, I know I need to find some people, and I know I will find my people. I'm unconcerned with finding my people because it's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So it'll happen. It'll happen, but not in this way. And I think that it is important to speak around that and to honor that and to give yourself that grace if you find your own self in that space, but also know that there's more and there's different, um, and that lies beyond, and that lies you have to keep going, to keep figuring it out, to keep and to be open to what that looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Until you find it. Whatever it looks like for
Until
you,
you
just
find it.
make it work.
Until you find it.
Until you find it.
It'll happen. Maybe it's not this specific group in this way. Maybe it's not this other specific group in that other way, but that does not mean that you could not find joy in groups somewhere, somehow. Or find joy in this community in some way, somehow.
And you yourself have created this sense of community through your YouTube channel. Shall we? Let's go there.
Yard by yard is hard, but inch by inch is a cinch. Catch a glimpse, cuz ride the rhythm, feel the love. Too bad you out here with me, but homie, welcome to the club. A diagnosis might leave you hopeless, but the love we out here holding might shift how you approach this and focus. Cause we out here on your screens, holding space up on the scene, turning nightmares into dreams, shedding light on the unseen. Quarantines and insight into life with a disease can move around.
Your YouTube channel, I have to say, I love it because there's so much there. It's funny, it's informative, it's just great. So
Thank you.
no stress MS, by the way. No stress MS.
No stress MS. YouTube.com/no stress MS. Like, look, we was talking about it earlier. Like, I'm an actor. I do commercials and wanting to be on TV with a laugh track, etc., etc. And I'm doing all of that, and it's going its way. But somewhere along the line, one of my friends, like a friend I went to high school with, um, he and I did not attend high school at the same time, but like I'm a couple of years ahead of him. But we had one teacher, and one of the teachers that I'm still cool with, and I speak to, and we cool. He's like, "Yo, you moving to LA? Huh? One of my former if you're moving to LA, one of my former students, he's younger than you, but y'all would vibe. So when you're out there, I'll give you the number." And so we're vibing. Yeah, we vibe. And we're vibing. And one of the times we're hanging out, he's like, his career is beginning to turn because he makes content and he vlogs and like all these things. And so we're vibing one day, and he's like, "My man, you should make content, bro." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "My man, you should make content, bro." And because that's my friend and who's, in the theater trenches and who's on TV, like he's another dude you know from TV. You see him on television. Um, and he is like, "Yo, I know you don't know how right now, but figure out how." And coming from my peer in that way made me be like, all right. And mixed with when I got my spinal tap. The spinal tap did not heal properly. And they you get the tap and you're supposed to be fine in a day or two, no more than 3. About a week into it, I'm like, I cannot leave the bed, y'all. Like,
I haven't had one, so I'm learning from you.
girl, if you don't need one, don't get one. You don't need
No,
one.
mine was pretty obvious. I was completely paralyzed. I was paralyzed from head to toe.
Right.
So
Right.
I was. So it was pretty obvious. There was something really bad going on with me. No need for a spinal tap.
No, don't. That's not yours. Because if it doesn't heal properly, then the needle that they
use.
use, right?
Yeah.
It makes a hole, okay, in your spine. in your spine. That's what the needle goes in there and sucks the stuff out.
You.
And so that hole, if it does not heal,
Mm. Let's take a moment. You're funny. Oh my.
I was on bed rest for, I say 14 days. My wife says 12. Who's counting? But at some point, like this, you're supposed to get better. You're supposed to get better, right? It's only supposed to hurt, but so bad, but for so long, and take some painkillers, and it'll get better. After like the 5th day, it's like, oh, I don't that this is hasn't healed yet. Oh, okay, cool. After like the 7th day, it's like I have let's something has to happen. And so, I call the hospital and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, you supposed to be going to the grocery store right now. So how about we do this second procedure to make sure we close that hole?"
What?
And because clearly there's a hole. So he's like, "Let's do this procedure that we know will put you back on your feet." We're not going to have any availability in the hospital for the procedure until next week sometime. So
Oh my.
let's get
But
you
you
counted.
agree? You agree to that procedure? I'm surprised you agree. I would have not let them touch me again. Like, maybe not. Maybe I'll put a band-aid. I don't know.
I didn't say this. I just spoke around this. You not healing, at least for me, you not healing from that. It's the most excruciating pain I have ever been in my entire life. If I was not sleeping, or peeing, I was in the most excruciating pain I had ever felt in my entire life.
Crazy. I have heard
The
stories.
guy
But
who
yours
moves
is like,
all around the camera and is a laughy dude is very still and looking directly in the lens and telling you, if I wasn't peeing or sleeping, I was in the most excruciating pain I had ever felt in my entire life.
you are scaring me.
So as I'm
People,
going
don't
through
freak
this,
out, people.
no, but this is the thing. That only happens in but so many amount of the people, population of the
Maybe
people,
they
but it
were
does happen.
too aggressive. It depends on the hand of the technician as well.
Who knows? But this is what I'm
I don't
saying.
know.
So like
Just saying.
most people heal. It's fine. It's great. And I live with most people. Like I carry myself in that. I don't shy away from doing things because I'm afraid how no. Do the thing.
Yeah, do it.
It just so happened that I was in the small minority of people
You were in the
that it didn't pop.
1%? In the
I was in
1%
the
of everything?
1% where it didn't properly heal.
Yeah, I understand.
It didn't
I'm sorry.
properly heal. So spinal fluid was leaking out of that hole. It would leak. It would just leak. And it's not that I would feel it leaking, but it's all pressures and ballast systems. And you stand up like things are moving in you. And like, if those fluids ain't moving
That
and they're
feels a little like when
spilling,
I had my babies. You're taking me back to those painful experiences.
this is what I'm saying.
I
Like
got those in my spine as well.
yep.
Those were not fun. They were not fun. But yours is like, wow, incredible.
But watch this though. I only go into that detail to really set up the other side to this, right? When I was on the bed rest, about a week or so in, my wife, she'd get up and go to work and come home, blah, blah, blah. At some point, like, a weekend, she's like, "Wait, Damian, have you just been in here all day by yourself in pain?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, you should call one of your friends, bro. Like, call somebody.
Yeah,
Um,
get out of your mind for a minute talking to somebody
call
else.
somebody.
Yeah.
So I called 3 people. And like the specific, like this is my league of gentlemen here. Like, all right, I can call y'all and I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine because I spoke to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And once I sort of spoken to the last one, I remembered my friend who was like, yo, you need to figure out how to do YouTube videos. I know you go on commercial sets and you're trying to be on sitcoms and you're trying to do all of that, but you need to learn how to talk to your telephone. You need to learn how to speak to people in a browser tab. Figure that out. And when I was like going through those days of pain, days and nights of pain, I was like, well, I'm not always going to be in this much pain. So whenever I am back on my feet, I should probably do something that I've been avoiding when I'm available again. And making content and figuring out this YouTube thing was the biggest thing that I was avoiding. And you can look on my channel, go back to the beginning, like the very first video. Like they're all a certain type of videos and they're only out but so often. And yeah, they're funny and like whatever. But they don't become to be about multiple sclerosis until a certain point. And then once they're about multiple sclerosis, they're only about multiple sclerosis. And then after a certain point in time, they're only about multiple sclerosis every single week for years.
Yeah.
And then it's like I'm at some point now where it's like, I have another set of content that I've been working on for some more years. Um, um, so I get to sort of step back and be like, okay, I've shown up every single week for 6 years, so I don't need to do that anymore.
Every Wednesday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Every Wednesday. I don't need to do that anymore. How about I take more time to figure out other pieces of content and other ways to be supportive in the community and to make my own way forward. So I had to stop being. No, I didn't have to. I chose to stop putting out video every week, to make sure that I just was on Instagram a little bit more. And even now, I'm like, I could be on Instagram more, but I could also be working for clients and making sure that I aim to get more jobs and
Right.
just
Of
aim to
course.
get that going. And I've got the long ball view of multiple sclerosis content. I am not going to go into the specifics here. It's a buttload of content. And I am currently, I had to, once I thought about it, and this is all comes back to multiple sclerosis, Mike, because like something that runs me is the wind in my sails, is the notion the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So the bed rest led me to be a content guy. And then the content guy led me to be an MS content guy. And I did not want to be an MS content guy at all. But the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. So now I'm an MS content guy. And as I'm doing all of this, it's like, here's another way in which you can serve your community. But it's going to take a long time, especially if it's only you. This is going to take years to pull off. It's going to take years to pull off, especially if it's only you.
Yeah.
But work on it. And I am currently 12% done with that. If I could find another video editor that's less money than my current one, that would be lovely. So if there's anybody out there watching and want to get on this project and help me cut it up just so it can be out, holler at your boy. But once it's done, anybody who just got diagnosed with MS, who just like, wait, what? will be able to tune in to this set of content and know 1 minute, one engaging video minute about pretty much everything you could think about when you get a multiple sclerosis diagnosis.
So when are
Like
you planning to do publish that?
it's,
Like it's just
I don't know when. Like I'm just making, like I say, I'm 12% complete.
12%. Yeah.
12% complete. Like I had to write it all, and then I
Yes.
had to shoot it all,
Mm.
and now I'm editing it all, and I'm in 12% complete number.
It takes a lot of time.
It takes a lot. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. If there are any video editors out there that want to
Yeah.
get up in this and help me find the middle on this, that will help get this out here sooner. But anyone who is newly diagnosed will be able to get a short, engaging video about relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis, primary progressive multiple sclerosis, armodafinil and multiple sclerosis, modafinil,
Infusions.
infusion,
Infusion days.
and
Tips.
not even if that's a whole nother set of things. It's like
It's a lot.
this medicine, this other medicine, this other medicine, this organization, this other organization. Like I'm doing the whole thing.
Well, I'm looking forward to see you that new content. I mean, it sounds like
me too.
It's pretty cool.
Me too. Thank you. I think you will enjoy it, and I hope
I know it will. I know it. Everybody will. So people stay tuned. You work with the National MS Society doing the Black MS Experience Summit, right? We can call it a summit.
Black MS Experience Summit. Whew. That was another one of those honor things. Like, you know, people are like being like, "Hey, what you doing? Hey, do your thing over here with me." And as they, you know, they have the Latinx experience. They have the African American. Okay. You've done those videos.
Yeah.
So it's
not only
it's
that, but I'm part of the collaborative, the committee behind the scenes. I work the whole year before it actually goes live.
Right? It's a lot. It's a lot.
But tell me about the Black MS Experience.
It's just one of those things that, like, I'm very just glad that I'm doing my thing, and they're like, "Hey, you have multiple sclerosis, and you Black, so come here and talk about this thing in this way." And it's wonderful to think that I can be of some service to folk in the community and be able to speak to a bunch of folk and speak about a bunch of folk, and to be able to bring to light common experiences. And if the people who are watching those common experiences are all not of your experience, but your MS experience, that it just there's more in that. There's expansion in that. There's joy in that. There's finding this, and there's togetherness. There's all sorts of wonderful, special things in that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a joy to be out here in the mix, and to have that email be an email that come in and be like, "Hey, you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Oh, you know I want to do this. When do you want to do this? You tell me when I'm gonna be there. I'll be there 15 minutes early."
I'm always 15 minutes late. That'd be me. Anyways, Damian, it's been, oh my goodness, a great experience to have you here today and talk with you in such an informal platform. It's been such a treat, honestly, because you are so genuine. And you've done so many things in the community that I had to have you here, because that shows everybody else all the other things that an MS patient can do with their lives. You know, it's inspirational.
The respect and admiration is mutual, and the joy is palpable, as you can see. I can only give what I give because of what I get from who I'm looking at. So you see me like, Like I get that from you. So thank you.